All right. Good morning. Let's see. Charts up there. Right, good morning. Yeah. Okay. All right. So yesterday was another narrow range day, and we got a little continuation pattern, which is more, well, let's say clearer on the cues. And what we always look for a continuation pattern is for well, yesterday's bar, or if you're looking at a 5 minute chart, the previous bar, whatever. After a move up, and we had a month-long consolidation. So this isn't that unusual. Remember yesterday we talked about this bottom that was forming, and we were looking at the 15-minute chart. And so let me just get my thing lined up. So this is what we were looking at yesterday, this bottom. And we talked about this downside shakeout. And then it happened again yesterday. Like went sideways, rattling. It can't go up, comes down again to the pivots, comes back up again. Yesterday, some of us in the green room, whether it was the NQs, I don't know if anybody did spiders or the ES or whatever, but some did the NQs. Alex maybe did a few things with YM. Anyway, things went up in the latter part of the day. And so now, we've got a nice little bottom here. Over the course of 2 days, you can see the two bars there. Looking at the 60-minute chart, as always, we look to the left. It formed a pivot. So this is like a more condensed version, of course, some higher time frame of the 15 minutes. So you only got one pivot. And so you take note of that pivot when it's in an uptrend, that was prices come down to it. Your expectation is that buyers will be there. Sometimes it takes it out a little bit. And this is also, a concept that we call creating support. And what does that mean? Well, when you get a momentum move like this, you see there's no pivots. You look at the 15-minute chart, we did have this little congestion area. So there was some support. So when we were reviewing earlier in the week, it was like, okay, will this hold this little shelf? If not, it's going to move down into this void. And so as it tested that and it formed pivots, and again, the retest, and then up it went yesterday. So on a daily chart, it looks like a continuation pattern. It didn't take out the low that you'll see the cues did. But as it's, formed this support area, and now it's up and it's gapping up, and, always gapping up to where, but it's new all-time highs. So not ideal, because look, now how we're going to, not how, but, we're dealing with a gap up versus, if it had started out, maybe flattish, or it gapped up a little bit, and you could buy the gap fill, and then up it goes, just based on a bias of what we just talked about here. And now we're getting, a gap up. So that's 488 level, give or take. And so can it go higher? So now it's like, okay, does it come down and fill the gap? Well, it certainly could, but remember, everything that we teach, our method here, is based on creating a thought process. So part of that thought process is this thing rested for 2 days and created this support. Now it's gapping up to this level. It really shouldn't fill the gap, but it certainly could. Anything's possible. But what we want to see from the bullish point of view is that, this continuation doesn't fill the gap. We'll see. Right? We don't know. Whereas, say, on a 2 minute chart, maybe it rattles around and it pivots, and then maybe it continues higher, or the 5. That's the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen here. But what we do know is buyers continue to step up. They created this base after this, strong run up, and it looks like it can continue higher. And okay, continue higher to where? Can we get to 500? That seems like a stretch, but we don't have any overhead resistance here. It's new all-time highs, which again leads to another layer of difficulty. And then we'll just continue to monitor on the time frames that we use to see if it violates the trend in a smaller time frame, and whether it erodes into higher time frames, and so on. And then tomorrow's a big number day. Today there's a lot of oil numbers coming out. Internals, breath is only down to 0. This really needs to kick in today, and well, doesn't have to, but as the market goes up, you want to see the breadth expand, and if it does, this will push up into this, and then we'll get a sell signal. But breadth sentiment is already into an extreme. Equity put call ratio, it could pop higher into the upper band, and the total put call ratio is just touching the lower band, so that probably going to push up today. So we monitor this and see if it all comes together. Of course, we'll be talking about that in the coming days. All right, looking at the Qs, and I'll get to SPX. All right, so this is what I'm talking about with a continuation pattern, that it takes out at least a prior bar's low, and that's what it did. We had this little blip of weakness. It looked like it was going to go down, and it built support again, and it was the end of the day. We had this nice little pattern with the wide range bar and the little consolidation and the reversal, where that pushed up there at the latter part of the day, which was very nice. Then on this wide range bar, I typed into the room in caps, tick extreme. It's like, okay, get out. And I had one little more pullback and push into the close, but here to here was really the great day trade setup. And now again, gapping up, and again, where is it gapping? Give or take 472. Pretty big, gapping up here, which now creates this void. Same thought process, unfilled gap. Does it come down here? And what you want to look for, it either builds support or it'll touch the top of this bar, give or take, where buyers will set up. But, gapping up, well, 472. I guess it could come down that far. But as I said, coming out of this intraday base like that, ideally it doesn't, if it's going to continue to move higher. All right. SPX, obviously the numbers are much higher. And second. Where's my, look at the futures for a second. We'll go back here. Where'd my number go? I must have entered the number wrong. Bottom number. Hold on. Or accidentally erased it. It was an extra 8. That can't be right, could it? I guess it could be. Let me just look at these quotes again. $48.60. Things that came in a little bit. So down here, to touch there, these mornings have been more like, none of these strikes are getting hit, but watching what's going on for a little while, and assessing the situation before just jumping on board there. It's been working out. 4060. Let me see where that's at again here. It's tough at this new all-time highs, because there's nothing up above, and what to reference it to with that gap up. So, and it's kind of, so I'm eyeballing it. It's about here. So it's in between the strikes. Which way is it going to go? So the premium right now, that's where it's at. There's support down here. So, and I wait a little while and see which way it goes in the first few minutes. But at least this one's at support. There's nothing to stop it from going up here. The open interest at 5,000 is growing, but that's a month and further out. So, and you see what's happening with the sentiment. Uh, interest expiring. Well, that's next week. 48.75. Wow. 4,900. 4,900 whole number is going to be a sticking point. The open interest isn't huge there, but volume is growing there today, expecting that. Um, anyway, we'll figure it out in the room. That's where the premium is right now. And things are right in between, which isn't the ideal scenario. Or support intraday. What is the low here? There's not much. So looking at the futures, which is helpful, right? We've got this shelf right here. So that's that base. And so from the bullish point of view, we don't want to see this break below here. And notice this breakout got a little bit of a tail up on the top, but it's right on that little support level right there where it's beginning to hold. Let me say that. Thing. It's the blow off top. I mean, that's coming out of a base, but when things accelerate like this, it's you're likely that, especially here's a move and a consolidation, and now it's pushing higher. Um, what it gets up to, maybe 49.50. Just looking at kind of a measured kind of a move. If this is consolidated, anyway, it's a guessing game at this point since it's 5,000. But you can see that 180 reversal. This is being condensed, and the 49.50 and 5,000. Keep an eye on those possible upside targets. The Russell has been lagging. We need to see this thing start picking up some steam, ideally for the breadth to expand. YM was the laggard yesterday, but it's been a little bit of a laggard, as its consolidation. But now maybe it's going to be the one to do some catch up or outperform today. So this is like we want to see more of these markets participate. And now, of course, that leads to, with the internals lining up and the breadth expanding, but it's better for a correction to begin with more markets having participated in advance. We're going to get the correction at some point. There's no doubt of that. But, ideally, it starts off from a point where there are more parts of the markets that have participated with it. The transports, they underperformed. Obviously, red day. We'll see what they do today. They gapped up and came in, and the buyers didn't come back for that. Semiconductors look like they were going to roll, but now they're got that little continuation pattern. And interest rates. This is it. Interesting. Where's my 10-year? So gapping down, just what the market wants, right? For these yields to come down a little bit. It was right here at the declining, kind of like a pinch kind of thing, the 50 and the 200, but up at this resistance. Our discussion has been, well, if it goes up here, the market's not going to like it. And the gap down, while the right direction, it's not violating support. So that isn't all that meaningful. But if this continues lower, that idea of the SPX going higher begins to take shape. The dollar down, just what the market would want. So all of that's good. Bitcoin, just checking it up here a little bit, stabilizing a little, but we talked about the breakout and the failure there in the ETFs. So where's the crude oil? Still a mess, holding at resistance. We'll see if it gets going. So I don't know, getting ahead of ourselves, but look, if the interest rates come down to support, so that we'll get to this next week, but the bearish scenario, maybe a week from now, is, and prior to that, things continue higher, where interest rates come down to support, begin to flip up, the dollar flips up, oil flips up, internals are all at extremes, and then we'll know that the market is in for a bit of a bloodbath to some extent. All yours, Dan.
You're leaving it with me on the last comment of a bloodbath?
Well, we'll see. Who said maybe?
Good morning. Every day in the green room, we leave the day with looking at a bias. And I was bullish on spiders and Qs. I mean, they were climos, but we were saying the hourly chart was a consolidation over time. It was amazing strength, but they're still there below, as you can see on the hourly and daily. So this is not a time to be, chasing this. Greg, I told Greg pre-market, like, these are big gaps. And he's like, no, they aren't. And I'm just looking at, the dollars here, 422. I mean, 423 and a half. I mean, that's up $3.70. That's big to me. I understand the consolidation, all that, but the point I'm getting at is I sure as heck ain't buying these broader indices gapping like this.
Yeah, and the reason I said that was, and if TC 2000 is correct, it says the spiders are gapping up 0.4%, and the Qs are gapping up. Well, that's larger, 0.8, 0.68%. So, historically, 0.5% gap isn't, while it's, kind of big, it's not excessive compared to what excessive gaps are.
I get that, but you also got to put that in the context of different distance to the 20 is what I'm saying. That I ain't buying this.
Yeah, that's the second level of, I agree with what you're saying, because I'm just the gap number. And then, like you're saying, what preceded the gap was that initial move. So it's another layer of, what's happening currently. So yeah.
Right. But as always, you hear me saying this all the time, even though I'm not trading the broader markets long or short, we find individual setups all the time. And I have a monster bullish set of, watch list here today, particularly in the uranium stocks. I missed some of those yesterday. Let's see a couple. Let me just go through these alarms going off pre-market. Marriott, we're in trail mode. This was a beautiful breakout. Where if it is gapping up this high, that's a $3 gap right there. I'm going to be moving stop 5-minute low and ring the register. So UEC, we'll come back to these. This was a buy. This is the uranium sector. Looks fantastic. CCJ, we did talk about yesterday. I had posted that last night. Yesterday's high, another buy setup. I like this one better just because it's a little deeper retracement, reversal, minor support. There's others I'll review in a few moments. Visa up alarm. We're in trail mode. I tightened stop right under this 15-minute bar. That looks fantastic. Echo Alpha, we're in a half lot yesterday. You can add the back half today. Intel, we're short naked puts or earnings today. My up alarm went off, but it really doesn't matter. We're waiting for, it's an earnings trade. Oscar alarm, this has been posted for a couple days now. Little buy setup, kind of bull flag. My up alarm just went off. So that's good to go, 5-minute high. All right, that was a mouthful. Those were all alerts. Let's see what we did on YouTube here before we look at earnings. Raoul Jack short yesterday's low. Yeah, yeah, it's a sell setup, sure. Raul, here's another one I posted last night. Jable, another sell setup, converging 2050. Um, I like this one a tad better just because it's weaker. But yeah, Jack's a sell setup, sure. Notice how Jack's above the 50. So that's a great, this one's stronger. So I don't think Jack's going to take out a prior low. But Jable, I do see. Well, first target over here at least. But the moving averages here are a fantastic comparison to the other one. AVD long yesterday's high. I think you mean short, Pavel, because I know you and this is not your style. I know. That's a short yesterday's low. Yeah, I'm just gonna take that as a typo. Thomas NXE. Yeah, here I have a whole list here of uranium stocks. Here I got them in a row here. URG, UEC is posted. Well, not SIBO. Where are they? I actually just posted it on YouTube. I had a whole list of them here. Hold on. Where are you? My list. Okay, here you go. DNN. So if the green room can help me monitor these, this one's not as good because it retraced from a little sideways thing there, but same sector. UEC looks good. It's posted. NXE looks good. You know, not as good as the other two. CCJ, I love. Triple U bottoming pattern. URG, little bull rectangle. URA, I like, and uranium is the miners, the ETF. And talking about that today, M2 Live is going to be on trading ETFs, and this is a fantastic example of the benefits. So yeah, this was the sector I said I like a lot today. Let's continue here. These are still YouTubers. All right, so Thomas UEC is on my list. I just went over Daku, bull rectangle. Yeah, Daku. I forget if this one's on my core list or not. I forget. But yeah, bull rectangle. I'm not going to rush into it, but daily, weekly. Look over here, monthly bottoming pattern. So Daku says I'm going to add that to my core list. SEM. I'm not crazy about that one. Needs some more time to shape up. Twilio is also on my core watch list. Look, daily, weekly, monthly. And I say this monthly is better than Daku because the monthly got out of the base more. So Twilio could be getting right to do a third lot. Roberto BZ, possible 1, 2, 3. It's yes is fine. It's a little bit far from the 20, but yes is the answer. Now let's go up here to earnings now. I'm running out of time. Here we start with Netflix as the big winner of 10%. I mean, the chart was bullish, daily, weekly, monthly. I know Sam and some others shorted some 430 puts into earnings, so they're getting paid for that. Brokered started up, now down 30 bucks. Oh, that's ugly. 30-minute low, maybe. Texan, I know, was down a whole lot more. Still, there's a Bear Island reversal. That's a call spread. Bear Island reversal. All right, I need more space here. Can somebody watch this for me? For us, not for me, for us. Texan call spread, 10-minute low, expires Friday. DWAC is also an alarm went off. I posted a call spread. I posted it yesterday as a watch. Call spread, the premiums were just absolutely insanely high. I mean, we could have sold the $90 calls for like, I forget what it was, $2-3. It was nuts. Now with this gap down here, 5-minute low, let's do a call spread. All right, EWBC, gapping down, no pattern. ISRG, gapping up, but that's far from the 20 and 50. Stole, that's getting whacked. I would have got burned on that. I was going to short 110 puts, but there was not enough juice. Glad there I didn't do that. Now, if CNI is gapping to 127 here, then that's a nice gap breakout. Let's watch that. Somebody, please. True alarm just went off. This is Sam I am true. Sidmo, that's a bottoming pattern, no rush. LNT. All right, LNT, let's just go ahead and take our money. We only have a third lot left. Let's put a 1-minute high. I'm not going to even give it 5 minutes. Give it a 1-minute high on LNT. Mara alarm. It's trying to make the turn after a Climo. Same with Riot. But Riot has to take out that prior tail. Today, MT Live again. The ETFs. WIGMI here. WIGMI is the ETF for these miners. Marriott. No, that's a typo. I was wondering what the heck am I looking at? All right, Marriott. I already moved stop. We'll keep the stop. Riot up alarm. Tick surging 1,500. Oscar. Oscar, I said was good. Shoot, I said 5-minute high, and that's let's just say Oscar's okay at 1150. Get a small pullback. Oscar, yeah, 1150 is okay. Oscar, CCJ up alarm. That's a clean hit, so CCJ is a go. CCJ is a clean hit. Clean hit means we don't have to deal with a gap. I'll get to it later, but that's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. All right, RSG up alarm. Nice. We're short naked puts. Let me set a new alarm. 69.40. Yeah, see this, we're selling off a little bit here, so I surely am not, buying the broader markets makes zero